Two stories of suffering, two sides of a brutal conflict. Marwan Barghouti beaten in Israeli prisons, ribs shattered. A young Israeli hostage tortured in Gaza, surviving starvation and isolation. And bodies returned, questions unanswered. In a war of captives and cruelty, who truly bears the cost? Palestinian sources are reporting that Marwan Barghouti, one of the most prominent figures in Palestinian politics, suffered 4 broken ribs after being beaten by Israeli prison guards during a facility transfer last month. The 66-year-old former Fatah leader was allegedly assaulted in mid-September while being moved from Ramon prison in southern Israel to Megiddo prison in the north, according to a statement from the Hamas-linked Prisoners Information Office. The reports claim Barghouti lost consciousness during the beating and sustained fractures to 4 ribs. He's been incarcerated since 2002, serving 5 cumulative life sentences plus 40 years for helping plan attacks during the Second Intifada that killed 5 civilians. Barghouti has consistently denied the charges and rejected the Israeli court's jurisdiction, citing his position as a member of the Palestinian Authority's parliament. Israel's National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir, who oversees the Israel Prison Service, denies the allegations entirely.
I am proud that Barghouti's conditions have changed drastically during my tenure. The murderer Barghouti knows that today, terrorists like him are dealt with firmly, which is why he invents fake news in an attempt to rouse his loathsome terrorist comrades who left him behind in the deal.
That deal he's referring to is the recent hostage-prisoner exchange. Hamas negotiators pushed hard to secure Barghouti's release when they handed over the remaining 20 living hostages in exchange for 1,968 Palestinian detainees. They failed. Many Palestinians see Barghouti as a potential successor to President Mahmoud Abbas, which makes his continued imprisonment a particularly sensitive issue. While Barghouti sits in an Israeli prison with alleged injuries, another story of brutality emerged this week from the other side. Rom Braslavski, who was freed on Monday after more than 7 to 30 days in Hamas captivity, endured systematic torture and religious coercion, according to his mother, Tami.
Rom told me that between April and July they abused him more. Several times a day, they would beat him with a whip and with things that I will not even mention. He absorbed it.
Braslavski, now 21, was working as a security guard at the Supernova Music Festival when Hamas terrorists abducted him on October 7, 2023. His mother revealed that his captors attempted to convert him to Islam, using food as leverage during his starvation.
It's important for him to maintain his Jewish identity because they asked him to convert to Islam. They tried to tempt him with food and small gifts. He didn't break down and didn't do it.
The conditions were severe. Braslavski received only half a pita each evening. He was kept with his hands and feet handcuffed. At one point, desperate and resourceful, he managed to set fire to a terrorist's uniform and a book using the flame to cook pasta. The smoke nearly gave away his location, but his captor moved him to a slightly better spot before anyone else arrived. According to Khan, some returning hostages described being held not just in underground tunnels, but also inside tents within displaced persons camps in central Gaza. Braslavski and another freed hostage, Ariel Cuneo, both told reporters they'd been held in isolation throughout their entire captivity. Before his release, Braslavski saw something that will haunt him. His mother shared that he witnessed the bodies of slain hostages in Gaza. When he returned to Israel, he told Gal Hirsch, the coordinator for the hostages and missing at the Prime Minister's office, his mission is not over. His mother added,
He told me, Mom, I always knew it would end.
On October 14th, Hamas handed over 4 bodies to the Red Cross in Gaza City, which were then transferred to the Israeli military. 3 were identified as Israeli hostages. Staff Sergeant Tamir Nimrodi, 18. Uriel Baruch, 35, Eitan Levy, 53. Their families received the devastating notifications Wednesday morning after examinations at the Abu Kabir National Institute of Forensic Medicine in Tel Aviv. But the fourth body tells a more complicated and troubling story. Israel officially stated the fourth body did not belong to any hostage. Instead, it was identified as belonging to a Palestinian man. According to Al Jazeera, citing a source within what they call the resistance, Hamas claimed this was the body of an Israeli soldier captured during operations in Jabalia refugee camp in May 2024. The Israeli military denied any such capture at the time, stating clearly,
"The IDF clarifies that there is no incident of a soldier's kidnapping."
But Palestinian media identified the man back then as Khalil Dawas, a Palestinian from the West Bank's Aqabat Jabr camp near Jericho. Reports indicated Dawas had been detained by Israel previously. Hamas had released video footage showing a bloodied person being dragged through a tunnel, along with images of military gear and submachine guns not typically used by the Israeli military. Now, Khan public broadcaster reported, without citing sources,
The man whose body was returned operated alongside security forces in searches of underground tunnels and was killed by Hamas a year and a half ago.
this raises serious questions about a practice that's been commonplace but officially prohibited during this war. Israeli soldiers have been sending detained Palestinians into buildings and tunnels before troops enter, effectively using them as human shields. The IDF maintains it strictly prohibits using civilians as shields and claims it has opened investigations into several such cases, but the practice appears to have continued. The handover came after Israel accused Hamas of violating the recently implemented ceasefire by withholding bodies of deceased hostages. Under the ceasefire terms, all 28 deceased captives were supposed to be returned by Monday at noon, though Hamas had some leeway to provide information about those it didn't hold or couldn't locate. Hamas returned only 4 bodies on Monday. After Tuesday's transfer, 21 dead hostages remain unaccounted for.